Guys, I'd like to introduce you to an absolute killer. His name's Wayne. We've been in the program. He's been in the program for a little under 2 weeks. And he's an absolute monster. Wayne, why don't you walk us through some of the results you've seen in the past 2 weeks or so?
Hey Mo, yeah, great man. Results have been awesome. We've listed a property already. GCI is sitting at about 59,000. We've got another two properties that we're working on now with a combined GCI of close to about 65,000 for both those two properties. So yeah, everything's working really smoothly. There's a structured plan, there's a structured approach, and just really appreciating what you've been able to offer us.
And I'm blown away because this is the fastest we've ever had anyone come in and just like list a property, especially it being 59K
Right.
GCI. Yeah. And one thing I want to like talk about is your mindset with it because I feel like you were very spot on. I noticed that when you jumped in the program, everything was just the moment you got something, you were on top of it right away, right? So,
Sure.
what kind of advice would you give to someone that is potentially thinking about jumping in the program and eventually like trying to get results like you do? Like, what's kind of your strategy behind that?
Yeah, I think the best advice I can give is that everything is there. You're actually putting it on a silver platter for me. So from that perspective, you've just got to be really disciplined with following a process, and that process is follow up. That process is nurturing, and that process is obviously getting in front of our vendors to be able to transact. When I say transact, as in getting them to sign up for a listing. So from that perspective, putting in the diary, getting in the calendar, disciplined follow up, getting in front of the vendors. It's just staying consistent to that process and staying consistent to that discipline. From my perspective, the fact that you're doing all the work in the background just allows me to come in at the right time and start putting the icing on the cake, so to speak. But yeah, beyond that, I think if anyone's keen on getting involved with you, I think it's an amazing opportunity, and it allows me especially to be able to forecast even better, what I can work on, to ensure that I've got, a forecast that looks healthy, not only over the next 3 months, but 6, 12, and plus months moving forward.
Yeah, awesome. And I know that most of your deals before came from like, referrals, door knocks, letterbox drops. So how do you find this process in comparison to that?
Yeah, like I said in the beginning, right? Like you're putting everything on a silver
That's
platter
so
for me.
fun.
So
Yeah.
I'm not outside sweating, door knocking. I'm not on the phone, hammering the phone, in relation to cold calling. So I'm just being, I guess it's a smarter way with conducting business where I can spend my time a lot more productively in front of vendors on existing campaigns that we're managing and making sure I've got that vendor management down pat, whilst what you're doing in the background is allowing me to continue to still create new opportunities, in the short to long term.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So what made you kind of want to try something like this? Because it is a step, right? Like you invested in yourself and it's not like cold calling, door knocking where it's like very cheap to do. So what kind of made you want to try something like this?
Yeah, great question. I think for me, I was just really in the grind, right? So just really hard work, the old traditional way, door knocking, cold calling. And I just felt like I wanted to create a little bit more bounce in my day, create the opportunity for something a little bit more creative that I didn't have a lot of exposure to, and that I didn't have a lot of background, with. And that's where obviously you came in and, provided me that comfort that you would be able to create that opportunity of generating new leads a different way. And I think that's been the biggest thing that I've seen over the last few weeks with the feedback that I've been able to attain from some of the vendors that I've connected with through you, in particular with the video that we created, right? I actually have received a lot of comment on that saying how unique that is and how different that is to what the rest of the market is doing. So I think from my perspective, it's just allowed me to move away from the daily grind of door knocking and cold calling and just mixing up my day a little bit different to allow me to spend time where I do really well, and that's in front of buyers and vendor management, but still allow my business to maintain a level of prospecting that I need to continue and maintain consistency with to ensure that my business will grow.